Well, I think that that endorsement is in part due to the work that I've done over the years around transit, and probably also reflective of my own transit experience on a daily basis. I am the one major mayoral candidate that does not have a car and that gets around San Francisco on Muni, on my feet, on my bicycle, by trying to hail cabs and with my city car share key fob. I've lived in San Francisco for 15 years, and for all but 6 months of that time period, I have gotten around on all of those different modes of transit, and I've been intimately familiar and frustrated with the challenges that face every single one of those transit modes. And so, as part of my mayoral platform, I have a very detailed policy paper that addresses how we move forward an agenda to really truly make us a transit-first city, and to address the experience for pedestrians, cyclists, those who share cars, those who use cabs, those who take Muni, and folks that drive in their private cars. Well, there are certainly more than just 3 problems with Muni. We could probably talk for an entire hour about what we need to do around Muni. And I'm proud of the fact that over the last few years, through the advocacy from my office, we have pushed to get tens of millions of dollars more into the Muni system to reduce some of the proposed fare increases and service cuts that the Newsom administration had tried to put forth in recent years, to move about reforms to develop a different governance structure. But of course, we have a long ways to go to fixing Muni. I think that there are, if I had to list the top 3 things we had to do, first and foremost, we have to implement the Transit Effectiveness Project. I am a big believer in many aspects of the research that we've known about for years and what we need to do to change Muni. So whether it be consolidating the number of bus stops that we have, in many parts of the city, we have a bus stop on every block. In fact, on my city block that I happen to live in, I've got 2 bus stops. And while that may be immediately convenient for folks like me, I think for the reliability and the speed of the system, we have to consolidate some of our bus stops. I think we also need to pilot rear door boarding to allow folks to enter the bus through 2 doors as opposed to 1. And we also need to experiment with technologies that would allow Muni drivers to help control the transit signal, so that we can hold a green light for another couple seconds to let the Muni bus get through. Much of the delay in our Muni buses come from what happens at the pickup of passengers and what happens at stoplights, and we need to do a better job of just moving through our Muni buses so that they're faster than 8 miles an hour. A second thing that we absolutely have to focus on is Muni governance, and I think very highly of Ed Riskin. He has an awful lot of work to do on his hands, particularly with regards to negotiating work rules right now with our transit workers and making sure that our Muni hierarchy structure, which right now is very top-heavy with high-level and mid-level managers, that we make sure that we get resources to our rank-and-file drivers and to our mechanics on the back end, so that the folks that have to do the frontline work of keeping our buses running on time and keeping our buses maintained have the resources that they need and are working in an environment that is efficient for them. We need to focus on that. Third and foremost, I do think that Muni continues to be chronically underfunded, and we have to make sure, with all the cuts that we've seen at the state level and at the federal level with regards to transit funding, that we are making sure that our own Muni system has the resources to both do what they need to do on an operating level, as well as to make the long-term capital improvements that we know the system needs. I think from a citywide perspective, we have faced significant structural budget deficits. In fact, in the 3 years as I've served as president of the Board of Supervisors, I have been involved in budget negotiations to eliminate a total of $1.4 billion worth of budget deficits. and obviously this has a huge impact on Muni. Specifically with regards to transit, I have been leading the way ever since I came into office for considering a return of our vehicle license fee back to the 2003 levels. If you remember, in 2003, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger took a wrecking ball to our state budget by, with a stroke of the pen, eliminating the vehicle license fee that had been around for 5 decades, that had brought in $6 billion a year of state finances and estimates of anywhere from $50 to $70 million a year of local monies. I would support moving forward with bringing back the vehicle license fee as a way to make sure that our roads continue to be paved, to make sure Muni runs on time, that we're putting in streetscape improvements for pedestrians and cyclists, and that we're otherwise taking care of our transit system.